Welcome in. This is not another sports show.
This is the sports show.
And I'm Brian DiNatale.
And I'm Cujo.
And it's week 1 in the books.
Yeah,
NFL.
finally had week 1 of the NFL.
Yeah, it's getting a little confusing between being week 1 and week 2 in college football. And it's going to be like that all season, you know.
We're already in week 3 in college football.
Yeah, it's a weird time, but...
it's hard being a host out here.
It is.
Multiple shows. It's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, multiple shows in case you guys don't know that. We're also dropping a college football show tomorrow.
Again.
So
2 shows.
Yeah, 2 shows
Twice
a week.
as much to listen to. That will get you through part of your workday.
Yeah.
Like we said, we know you're not doing work.
No.
So you know what? Listen to us.
How about that opening night game, Ravens-Chiefs?
That was a crazy game.
Lost by a toe. That hurts.
How likely was that to happen?
Seemed very likely.
It was.
That's a win for me. I picked the Chiefs.
Oh.
You picked the Ravens.
Yeah. I mean, Lamar rushed for $122.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, no. I mean, Lamar played well outside of, the last minute of the game.
What do you mean?
Last drive.
It was a solid drive. He just missed.
Yeah. Missed a wide open Zay Flowers. Wide open. Well, he wasn't throwing to him, though. That was the problem.
He wasn't throwing to Bateman.
Right, which is also just bad. If you're throwing to Bateman, you should have been throwing to Zay Flowers because he was wide open. So that as an excuse was like a terrible way to answer that.
It's tough being a quarterback, man.
Yeah. What was even more crazy was I was out there I was out scouting in Sao Paulo a couple weeks ago, before week 1.
Right.
I got back from Argentina and Brazil. I checked out the field conditions. They were not good.
Oh, not good?
No,
really?
Those field conditions, I was worried about them going into it, and sure enough, I mean, people were slipping and sliding, and boom, there goes Jordan Love. Out for 4 weeks.
To see that. I mean, we were here talking about how, we're huge fans of Love.
Yeah.
For the Packers. I mean, this is a big blow.
Yeah, no, I mean,
you know who didn't blow?
Who's that?
Saquon
Barkley is back, baby. I mean, this jersey value is going up and up as the second.
Now,
folks.
when we sign it, that's at least a G.
It's going up per week, and I mean, it's what we expected. I mean, we talked about it in the show. We're all in on Barkley this year. That's the kind of guy you wish. Hopefully, you got him in fantasy. We both didn't because we drafted at the front end of our drafts.
Yeah. But man, he looked good.
Man. I'm all in on Barkley this year.
Yeah, if you had Barkley, I'm sure you fared pretty well. I swear, it seemed like every team I went against in fantasy this week,
they all had Barkley.
They had shares of Barkley.
Me
I'm like,
too.
How does this happen?
Yeah.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. Oh, in case you were wondering, we did change the setup a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You noticed?
No one cares.
This? Oh, well, that's Glance. That's our ticker.
Oh, yeah. Everybody.
Oh, you were talking about.
No one cares. No one cares.
You'll zoom in. You'll see. That's a 2023 title. That's a dynasty title. So we have validation as a pod.
Well, we're gonna need
it.
We'll need it after some of these college football picks the other day. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you guys will know about that on the next show.
If you watch the show, you know.
Yeah, you'll know. But whatever. No one cares.
I mean, that seemed excessive.
But yeah, so Eagles just took them down to the wire. It was a good game. We both picked Eagles that game. We wanted to pick the Packers, but Jaden Reed had a game. Let me tell you guys,
he turned on the afterburners. I told you. Around, he had
I was like, dude, Jaden Reed's the guy this year for them. I don't know if he's quite Devontae, but he's close, and he's a different style player. But I mean, the dude's a stud.
Yeah, that's a huge game, man. He's gonna be a hot waiver wire pickup. If he's
out there, I was gonna say for the most part he's taken, but
yeah, I think it's gonna depend on the lead that you got.
Yeah,
if you're
in an 8-team league, yeah, you might
probably not even worth rostering at that point.
Right,
but, dude, 10, he might be out there in 10.
Right,
12, I'd be surprised if he's out there, and if he is, I'd be using some fab there.
Yeah,
I'd throw some fab on that.
I'd throw all my fab at that.
Oh,
it's tough because you're 4 weeks without Jordan Love at least. It's looking like a 3 to 6, but
the hard part, like what sucks now is like do you buy Malik Willis?
No.
Like, man, and he's just getting thrust into that system. He just got traded a couple weeks ago there. So it's not he's like been in this system as the backup for Jordan Love where, it's going to seem to like just fit seamlessly and like that transition will be tough. Okay. This is going to be rough.
Gonna have to start building some plays around Josh Jacobs.
Oh, how are we feeling after Josh Jacobs? You're huge on Josh Jacobs, and he underwhelmed.
I made some hot takes last week, and saying that he's going to finish top 5. I still think he is, and I'm okay with it. I think saying that he underwhelmed
would be accurate.
No, in the first half he underwhelmed, but also it's also a matchup thing. Number one, the field conditions. Now, I'll say Saquon Barkley didn't matter for him. He tore it up.
Let's be real, though. If we actually look at these numbers, they both had one really long play that kind of messed with these averages. Like, they weren't both super efficient.
No.
Josh Jacobs' numbers look way better.
He averaged 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, but you take away that 32-yard run, he had 15 for 50. That ain't good.
It's not great.
And then Saquon's 23 for 70.
Right.
No, Saquon did a lot of things great like that. We're not taking away from that, but I'm just saying, like, overall, it's a little bit misleading. Okay, but here's the average.
That's fine. It's still. I mean, that's how averages work in the NFL. That's how a rushing average works.
Yeah, but that's not always.
That's
the
always
full
how.
Tell, though.
That's always
like
how
well
Saquon. That's always how Saquon's been. He always rips off like massive runs and then he gets stacked up for like 2 yards.
Josh Jacobs doesn't have that breakaway.
Josh Jacobs
speed,
does
though.
that too. Think about all the games he ripped off against the Broncos. It was because he'd rip off like 3 40-yard runs.
Bronco performances for Josh Jacobs, his average is like 2 yards a carry.
2 years ago, though, I mean, he was ripping it. And look, first half, very underwhelming and almost like concerning, but at the same time, look, this is what they were doing. They thought they were going to have AJ Dillon this year, and he's going to be this ground, he's the ground and pound game, and then you got Josh Jacobs, who's more of like your elusive, like, between the tackles.
Are we really using the word elusive for Josh Jacobs?
Yes, we are. Oh. Between the tackles, that kind of thing. They lost Dillon, and so they didn't really have anybody to turn to on the goal line or in these situations. And you've got that Philly defense just stacked up on the line and in the box, and then you're trying to run it up the gut with Josh Jacobs. Like, okay.
You think it's going to get any easier, though, now without Love?
I don't know any running back who is going to fare much better in that situation. Maybe Derrick Henry. Maybe,
I think it's got to be a faster guy that can get to the edge.
But I'm just saying,
I don't think running through that Philly defense, like the front's hard.
And that's easy. The play design that they were getting. So it's okay,
doing a lot of
you got LaFleur on the sideline. You got LaFleur on the sideline being like really disappointed and like frustrated with Josh Jacobs. Like, all right, you ran a fucking HB dive up the middle with him.
You're telling me if you run 3 HB dives, he's not going to average more than like 3 yards a carry.
Clearly stacking the box, like like at very least play action and toss it out to the side. Like I don't understand what the play call was there, but anyway, it didn't matter. Second half, they kind of worked it, and honestly, I was a little bit more worried too because like they're giving Josh Jacobs all these plays that are like that, like these like HB blasts up the middle.
I think that's gonna be the concern is he's not gonna have the open plays. Jalen Reed went untouched. Like, those are the better plays.
But you can design plays for that.
Well, yeah, they're designing.
Why are we trashing? Why are we just like trashing? Clearly, you have to adjust. You know what I mean? Like you can't just be giving him the AJ Dillon.
So you think this is more on LaFleur than it is Josh Jacobs?
I think it was more the fact that they're playing in Brazil against the Eagles week 1 in a new playbook. Like Josh Jacobs didn't play a whole lot in the preseason. Like they're trying to figure it out still, and they're going to adjust this week. That's all it is. And I think he's going to be just fine. Like Wilson.
Emmanuel Wilson had 4 carries for 46 yards.
Yeah. Now,
and we take away his 18, he's still 3 for 27.
But did you see how those yards were gained? Yeah. They were all off of like HB draws and stuff where like the defense was not anticipating a run.
So I guess the problem is going to be they're going to have to find a way then to disguise what they're going to do with Jacobs.
No, I mean, you just run better plays.
That's I know, but if they're like constantly running, he's running up the middle, like for Josh Jacobs, it's going to be hard all year. If they know, like when he's in the lineup, they're not going to spread.
Well, you're also not playing the Philly defense every single week either.
No,
You shouldn't be doing that most of the time anyway. Like, I think there are defenses you could have him run up the middle, but I don't know. I'm not worried about it. He ended up finishing
Week 1's
solid.
Supposed to be about overreacting, though. I'm thinking Josh.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to have a huge year.
All right.
He's going to suck for the next 4 weeks because no Jordan Love.
So where do you think he finishes now after seeing week
from
1?
A fantasy spot?
What did you say last week? Like,
we said he could be top 10.
Did you say top 10? I said top 5.
3.
I said top 3.
Yeah.
I said top 3, but that was a spicy take. But
maybe
top 3.
15.
Is that you think he finishes 15?
Probably about RB 15, which is
that what you're complaining about? Like, he's literally a mid-tier RB2. I don't.
Yeah, he's just
too high end RB2.
Yeah. I was just.
Wow. Yeah.
I was a little underwhelmed.
The way
with
that
what
you're talking, it sounds like
Yeah.
you seem more as like an RB25 than like an RB.
I mean, that's
15.
possible, but he is a starter. He
Well, then
doesn't
that's
have
fine.
competition.
All right. So that seemed like an overreaction then but anyway, those were 2 exciting games. And then, we got a big one, which was the upset Bengals Patriots.
What a fucking joke. Like, are you kidding me? You're at home.
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't have T. Higgins.
I love it. I mean, screw the Bengals and Cincinnati fans, and
dude,
it's hilarious.
But, saying that as an LSU guy.
What do you mean?
Don't you have any pride, any loyalty?
I love Joey B, but...
And Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
There's no love there?
It's overrun by the fact that they're Cincinnati guys now.
Do we think that Zach Taylor's on the hot seat if the Bengals start out slow again this year?
I mean, no, if they end up in the playoffs again, it doesn't really matter. It's how they finish. But if
I kind of feel like the Bengals are just underwhelmed though.
If the
since the Super Bowl year, like it's kind of been underwhelming.
Who was all in on T. Higgins this week? What happened there?
Dude, he just randomly gets hurt. Like,
what happened there?
I'm also thinking like that dude's like, he does not care about the team at all.
Yeah, he's out.
He's like, nah, I ain't playing.
Yeah, I'm not in on T. Higgins this year.
Not now.
No.
I thought contract year and then this
then
injury pops up.
Jamar Chase hasn't got paid either.
No, I think what Higgins is doing is going to get Jamar even more money because they're going to be like, shit, we got to pay Jamar.
Yeah.
Because Jamar caught all 6 targets.
Yeah.
Did you see Jamar's interview after?
No. What was it?
It was cold shouldered.
Oh.
They were asking, so I'm like, well, why weren't you involved? Ask Zach.
Nice.
I played. He also had food poisoning actually over the weekend.
No way.
That was why he was listed as questionable with an illness. He had food poisoning.
He played.
They started getting him a little more involved, but
he cares more than
6 targets though. That's gotta be. You gotta give him more than that.
I mean, to be real, if we're going to be like serious about it, I think it does have a lot to do with that. Like, I think it has a lot to do with like, you're not paying players. You're not showing them, they're not taking it seriously. I mean, you got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase who you're supposed to be leading your team, and both of them are disgruntled.
Yeah. And they're confident that a Chase deal's going to get done. Higgins, we know, is not going to get done.
Right. But I mean,
Higgins is going to be gone.
That's still, I mean, like you said, you got post-game interviews with Chase. He's not showing up to practice apparently this week.
Chase, it was.
I mean, that's not good.
It was not like
after an 0-1 start. What are you going to do?
They got
you got.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're like Zach Taylor, like you got to kind of be on the hot seat a little bit more. Like some of this is like play calling too.
Yeah,
the play calling was absolutely atrocious by this team. I mean. You're telling me Joe Burrow can only throw for 164 yards against the Patriots?
Hey, that Patriots defense.
There were a lot of turnovers. Like, the Bengals were sloppy with the ball. A lot of turnovers, just not a clean game. But, hey, got handed to Ramondre Stevenson.
Hey, 120.
Workhorse, man.
120.
Ramondre is an underrated player. He was that way for fantasy last year.
Yeah, he wasn't as great last year, which is why...
No, but he got a lot of catches though. Last year he was a better receiving back than a running, like pure rushing back.
Yeah.
25 for 120 ain't nothing to scoff at,
No, it ain't.
So Ramondre Stevenson, huge fantasy hero. I admittedly did have him on the bench a couple times this week.
Yeah.
That seemed unfortunate.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
But I think that's what the Patriots are going to do this year. I think Stevenson's going to get a large workload.
Yeah.
With Brissett, they're just going to I think they're going to try to ground and pound, slow the game down, kind of milk the clock. Shout out Gerard Mayo getting that first dub for his Patriot career.
No wonder they're defensive-oriented win here.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Solid game.
Another close one, big one was the Texans-Colts.
That game was all that like lived up to. You know?
Texans won it.
Yeah, they did.
But it was not. I mean,
they won it a different way than I thought they would. Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon's that guy.
30 carries? What is this, Derrick Henry in high school?
I told you. I'm like,
dude, 30 for 159.
I think Joe Mixon's going to be solid this year if he can stay healthy.
I know, it's just crazy, like with all their weapons in the passing game, to just 30 carries, so it's a lot.
I mean,
is that sustainable for a full year on Joe Mixon?
I could be. He's always been kind of a workhorse guy. Not like 30 carries
when
guy.
You look at his box score, he was just the epitome of the solid 5-yard run.
Oh, yeah.
Like just getting the yards that you need to get. Not trying to make a big play, just being steady.
I mean,
when only 13's your longest and you average 5 yards on 30 of them, that means you're doing pretty damn well.
Yeah, he had 30 carries for 159 yards and then multiple TDs.
The other side, I mean, Jonathan Taylor could not get anything going against Houston.
No.
Houston's front wrapped him up a lot.
Yeah, and I think it was a lot to say about their front.
Yeah, I think it was more about that than a knock on Jonathan Taylor.
Anthony Richardson looked good.
Didn't take too many hits. That throw though to Alec Pierce, that 60-yard dime off his back.
I think that's what saved his day as far as like looking good. He didn't do anything like too flashy besides that.
Nah, he was, kind of inaccurate. They only threw it 19 times. Yeah, completes literally 9 passes.
That's the most confusing part because you're like, oh, what did Jonathan Taylor do? So how did they get to 27
how
points?
Did they get this? How did they have this many? They didn't have that many plays.
It is crazy how they got to 27 points. But
I mean, are you any more concerned about any of the Colt receivers now after what we just saw from Richardson? Like maybe they're not going to throw the ball enough to make these guys super fantasy relevant.
I didn't really think that. I wasn't too much into Pittman this year.
You're not into Pity City?
I am into Pity City in one of my leagues, but no, I'm not.
He got the volume. He had 8 targets, which is damn near half the throws of Richardson. So when he is throwing, he is looking Michael Pittman's way.
Right.
Now,
I'm not like incredibly worried. He's not too far off of where I thought he would be.
The throws that when Richardson was throwing throughout the game, he missed some open targets. Him and Mitchell just couldn't get on the same page.
Yeah.
5 targets, only 1 catch for 2 yards. But man, there were some wide open looks.
I mean,
big plays Mitchell got the separation that would have been to the crib and just couldn't hit him.
I mean, it's like we said, the completion percentage was atrocious. 9 for 19.
You can't be 50%, man.
That's less than 50%.
Yeah, not in the NFL.
And that's, like we said, he looked good. Like he had some just plays that just saved his day that made him look, and he rushed for a touchdown. I mean,
it's crazy. His QBR though was better than CJ Stroud's, and you're like, how?
Yeah. I mean, once again, how did they get to 27? I don't know how that adds up, but it does somehow. But Texans still roll.
Got to feel good about Joe Mixon and
I do.
Stephon Diggs fit right in.
He did.
He was bitching after the first drive.
Caught his touchdown. He bitched enough, and
he had 6 targets, 6 catches. So catching 100% of your target, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I mean, it showed kind of all 3 big receivers for Houston can be relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, Diggs obviously had the 2 touchdowns. Nico Collins, 6 for 117.
Yep.
Tank Dell was 3 for 40, so that hurts.
Yeah.
But he had 7 targets, so it's not like he didn't have enough target share.
I'm not super surprised about that. Like, if
someone's gonna
somebody has to, right?
And really, the way that offense is aligned, Stephon Diggs gets a better he has more weapons around himself too. He's used to be the number 1,
right?
Is he the number 1 there?
I don't know.
They got 3 guys that are
Nico might be the number 1.
1A through C.
I don't know how much of a piece I want of Tank Dell at this point.
I'm probably not a huge
daily or anything. Yeah.
Nah, it's gonna be there would need to be an injury to somebody.
He seems
else.
like a Gabe Davis.
Yeah, he's going to pop. There'll be a game where he'll have 3 touchdowns, and then there's going to be games like this where it's like pedestrian 40 yards, and I don't know. It seems risky.
Now, we got something to talk about. How about
my boy Reek?
What are your thoughts on Reek? Well, this might be a good time to toss to the segment. We got 6. Let's throw 60 seconds on the board.
That's just what it is. That's just what it is.
All right, so tell me a little bit about this Tyreek situation.
See, this is just how it is. Tyreek, obviously, a little snafu with the Miami-Dade police right before game time. Everyone got the update that's like, oh shit, he was detained, all this, that, unlawfully, in my opinion, but whatever. But that's what it is. But you know who Tyreek is? He's that dude. He's a wide receiver 1. He's a true pro. He goes out there and gets it. You knew coming out, he was pissed. He was fired up. Boys rallying around him. Tyreek, 80 yards to the crib. Man, they made the joke. He's got that breakaway from the cop speed. Might have been too soon, maybe not. But, I also thought it was hilarious. Tyreek's also never shies away from, being him. The celly after the touchdown, having Waddle arrest him. That's it. It's just the way it is.
All right. You made it through.
I did. Tyreek's my boy.
Without too much controversy, that could have gone many ways.
Oh, yeah, that could have been.
This was
that's a risky segment.
Yeah, the storylines coming into this game, were just,
whew.
And we were all intrigued to see what the footage looked like and everything before the game. They said they had the body cam footage and stuff. We saw on social media, the videos of people pulled over, like seeing them on the ground and stuff.
Just like
probably a little excessive.
A little bit.
Could have been. But at the same time,
Tyreek, it don't matter. Nothing.
I also kind of heard how he was responding to the cops. Did he need to get thrown on the ground? Probably not.
Nah.
But at the same time, he was being Tyreek. So
Tyreek's Tyreek. But he's always going to score.
Yeah.
The cheetah is fast and electric.
And cheetahs do reproduce at rapid rates.
They do.
Per not another sports show.
They do.
Don't
reproduce.
Fact check that.
Reek 7 catches, 130 touchdown. Tua played a pretty solid game.
Yeah,
overall.
I think what's maybe the bigger storyline is that the Vegas knew this line. We were just astounded by the -3. I think it was at -3.
Yeah, it was at -3 when we took it. And what sucked is that line moved throughout the week to 3.5. So man, if you got it on 3.5,
if you got 3.5, that hurts.
That hurts. And to be honest though, the Jaguars had this game in hand early.
Yeah, they did.
Jaguars played well.
Hey, Brian Thomas looked good.
Brian Thomas did look good. For me, I'm a little more surprised he looked that good.
I told you he was going to be good this year. I think he's the one. Like I said, maybe Neighbors is more skilled, but at the same time, I think Brian Thomas might have the more
big dude.
He might have more success, and he's already built for the NFL.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be. Maybe when it's all said and done, he might be better. I don't know.
Is there any concern for Jacksonville now that Christian Kirk only had 1 catch on 4 targets?
Maybe
now that Brian Thomas is the guy and Gabe Davis came in 3 for 62.
Maybe concern for Christian Kirk owners in fantasy, but as far as Jaguars, I don't think you're that concerned. I think it's just what the looks just weren't going his way.
Is there any concern with Travis Etienne's inefficiency this game? Do we think the Dolphins' offense, defensive line, is that great?
Let's not overreact.
No, but Tank Bigsby came in 12 carries, 73 yards.
He did.
He doubled up the average of Etienne.
I think you're concerned with the fact that he came in for 12 attempts, and they both had 12. Now Etienne was a little banged up.
Yeah,
was more the issue.
He also lost that fumble that was right. He was about to score, and that really flipped the
fumble
script.
Was actually, that's a good point. The fumble was really a huge part of that.
You can't do that. If he doesn't fumble that, Jaguars cruise to a victory.
Now,
there's no doubt.
Let's not overreact because that was his first fumble ever.
He doesn't fumble
he
a
doesn't
lot.
Fumble. So
it's not a good time to start.
It's not.
Especially right at the goal line.
Now Tank came in and proved himself
Tank looks fast. He gets down to be as small as he is. Like, like 6 foot 213. He's not like super small, but
no,
he gets on them quick.
Yeah,
like he gets his head down, and I feel like he gets downhill really fast.
Now, the real concerns maybe Trevor Lawrence, but we've already talked about that preseason. We talked about that.
He was very just meh.
I mean,
not a great QBR.
The line's not that great. I mean,
no.
Clearly,
he didn't, throw the picks or anything.
Only 3 sacks. That's still,
there were some weird lines though.
Yeah.
12 for 21.
Yeah.
Like these passing lines are just like,
yeah.
You had either guys like you have Tua who's 23 of 37, 338 a tud, or you have this Trevor Lawrence line. The Trevor Lawrence line kind of looks like a bunch of QBs this week.
Yeah.
I felt like there's a really big discrepancy. The QB was either super successful this week or not.
Or struggling.
There wasn't really much in between this week.
Speaking of struggling QBs, how about Deshaun Watson? What about that contract?
It sounds like he's struggling off the field now too.
Yeah.
Again.
The problem is you get too many massages and you just get soft, Now
I don't think he was soft.
No, that's what I was gonna say. The problem is that he wasn't.
Yeah. I don't think that's supposed to happen during the massage.
When you're not soft in the massage, you're soft on the field. Oh, you use that when you're
all the blood flow.
You're not hard on the field. It's not good for your game. And
this is proven science.
Yeah, it is. It's a proven science. Look it up.
4 out of 5 dentists have proven this, right?
Yes. Yeah, right. Dentists. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, were we surprised? No. We said Cowboys were going to win this for a mile, by a mile.
Dude, that line was fucked.
Yeah, that line was...
That line made no sense why the Browns were even favored.
By a mile, we picked that one.
And, obviously, if you're a Browns fantasy owner, you do not like anything you saw.
No.
That one, no,
not just fantasy. If you're a Browns fan,
Dallas is a really good defense. We saw that last year, but dude, Deshaun Watson taking 6 sacks.
There's not I don't even want to really talk about this game too much.
Is there anything that was noteworthy? Jerome Ford, garbage time touchdown.
Jerome Ford might be a solid fantasy asset.
Just garbage time.
Just because of garbage time, apparently.
He had a lot of checkdowns.
Yeah, he gets the checkdowns. He's the guy.
Njoku looked good until he got hurt.
Yeah.
He was a solid. Him and Watson have a pretty solid chemistry. Yeah. Amari Cooper.
He'll have his weeks. Let's not overreact.
No, but he dropped the wide open touchdowns.
Yeah, he did. He did.
2 catches on 9 targets. So
that's rough.
That's not a good.
Let's not overreact, but it's a rough week.
I just don't know what I think about Deshaun Watson.
I know what I think about him, but
I think Cleveland chose the wrong quarterback. I would rather have Baker Mayfield.
There's a bit of a curse, and that's what I was about to segue into was the Buccaneers Commanders game, which it was all Baker. He was cooking up. He was baking.
He was hot.
24 for 30, 289, 4 touchdowns. Baker is back. He looks like
that's why he's gonna get paid. Yeah,
I love to see it too because I really like the guy. He's matured so much in the NFL. He just seems like a good dude, a good leader, a football guy. I'm happy for the connection with him, Evans, Godwin. They actually have a solid chance. They have a
Godwin
solid
look good.
Yep.
Because last year, Godwin only had 2 touchdowns last year receiving.
Yeah.
Gets on the board early this year. Mike Evans is his guy in the red zone. Mike Evans has done that his whole career.
I don't want to say the NFC is wide open, but it's open.
It's more Buccaneers open. It's in more the South, I think.
It's way more open than the AFC.
Is there a team in the South you think that's better than the Buccaneers in their division?
No.
We know the Panthers aren't.
No, I
feel way less confident about Atlanta now.
We just saw that the Saints just demolished the Panthers without Olave.
Yeah.
Olave had 13 yards.
Oh, no.
And which upset me in fantasy, but it kind of concerns me for the year. But
just
47-10. The Panthers, I'm I don't know for Bryce Young.
I don't think he's it.
I don't think he's it. And
also,
it's crazy.
they don't have a lot of talent around
They don't.
him.
They don't.
But like, I don't think he's it.
And maybe it's like the coach. Maybe it's the system. I don't know what it is, but
it looks bad. He looks lost.
He looks like very not confident, which is
he's
crazy
like
coming out of like
Bama.
Yeah, the way that his it's just
the whole demeanor.
It's amazing.
Like
I'd love to hear Nick Saban's take on it. Maybe he's already made a take on it, but it's just.
So do we think New Orleans is that good, or is this just the Panthers are that bad?
I think Panthers are that bad. But look, Derek Carr was 19 for 23.
Derek Carr resurrection.
I mean,
listen,
Lion.
Derek Carr had to have it. He's got to have a good year.
He does.
Otherwise, Spencer Rattler's there. I honestly think Rattler's.
He's fine.
Got more potential.
I've always liked Derek Carr because he just seems like a locker room guy, just kind of the guy you knew in high school. Like he's like a gritty high school quarterback.
Yeah,
like he would have gone to our high school. That's public school guy.
Yeah,
I don't know if he was or not, but that's the vibe he gives off.
He does.
And I don't know. The thing is that like with him, I don't know if the skill's there. He's a great locker room guy. I think guys generally like him for the most part. They might have got tired of him last year when he was sucking and making claims. And but if he continues this, I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah. The other like messy thing, I think, is Carolina's backfield.
Yeah.
Like what we thought, like coming in, was Chuba Hubbard was going to be the guy.
Well,
Kinda
you thought that.
That's what a lot of people thought. He was a top 10 RB fantasy, like the back half of the year once he took over the starting role.
Yeah.
But then you see 5 carries Miles Sanders, 6 carries Chuba Hubbard, 4 carries Mike Boone, 4 for Bryce Young, but that's kind of script.
They don't know.
And no one was good.
Yeah.
20 carries for 58 yards.
But see, does that come down to like the coaching? Like no one got in time to get a rhythm.
Yeah.
Now, not to say that I'm like a Miles Sanders believer or anything.
I used to be.
You used to be on the
I
Eagles.
thought once he went to the Panthers and was going to be the guy and actually get a workload that they talked about. But nah, that's fake.
I think they're just waiting out the time until Brooks comes back.
Why would you bring Brooks back?
At this point,
like honestly, like this year, you should almost redshirt him.
Yep.
Let him like get working, like rehabbing.
Yep.
But I'm not putting him through a big workload. Like there's no reason. You think the Panthers are really going to compete here?
No.
I mean, you just gave up 47.
I mean, the Saints just dogged on them, and I mean, Kamara did all right. Shaheed had some catches. Not a lot. It's the same as kind of some of these other games we were talking about where it's like, how did they get to 47? I'm not exactly sure, but they did.
They did.
It was a couple of like he spread the ball out. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, it's a new offense, and
give them some.
New Orleans, they're changing stuff.
I mean, Derek Carr, if he continues this, the Saints could be dangerous, but I still think the Bucs might be the team in that division.
Oh yeah, and the thing we didn't really touch on in that Bucs game too was how Jaden Daniels did on the Washington side.
I did want to talk about that because I specifically watched a lot of that game's highlights and kind of looked at how he was going to do because, LSU guy.
Right.
And I was just curious to see how like he actually transitions, how he looks. He was zipping some balls in there. Like he actually looked good. Now, like his numbers, not quite there. Like when you really look at it.
I mean, fantasy wise, it kind of felt like a Richardson performance.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's a little different. Richardson's been competitive in games.
Yeah.
And Jaden Daniels scores 2 touchdowns that are kind of garbage time.
He
kind of not though. Like
he had 28 points in fantasy. So if you had him,
he ran 16 times.
I wish I would have played him because I had played Jordan Love, which, it really wasn't the injury. It was like the last play of the game, which made it even more tragic. But
yeah, Jaden, he ran a lot. 16 attempts is a lot.
Yeah.
They got to protect him.
I want to say, I think they need to, like, he only had 184 yards.
And he was 17 and 24,
which isn't bad.
Okay.
17-24 is not bad, but it was a lot of short, just kind of.
Yeah.
But I will say he was dumping like his release on these like were fast. Like the dude's getting rid of the ball fast, which is what you want to see because you don't want to see like I think what I was worried about his game was more like, all right, I'm gonna run around the backfield and then just try to run it because no one's open. He was getting the ball out quick.
Yeah, he had a lot of checkdowns. Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson both had 3 to 4 catches. Zach Ertz kind of safety,
which I'm okay with, but at the same time,
you gotta expand the field though.
Yeah,
eventually you gotta move the ball.
McLaurin only had like what? Man, he only had a couple catches.
2 catches, 17 yards on 4 targets.
I mean, but then
that
again,
might be just a week one in chemistry building because I like McLaurin.
Olave only had 2 catches as well,
and I think it'll come. One of the things I think Jaden Daniels has to do though is he's got to protect the ball. He had 3 fumbles.
Yeah,
he didn't lose any, but like also you can't be putting it. I mean, that's the problem we've seen with Lamar.
Yep,
being too loose with the ball, like
and not being able to throw a ball in clutch time. Get it to the receivers. But
Brian Robinson, I think, leads that backfield. I think
he looked good.
There's no question. I mean, he looked good.
Well, I mean, there really isn't. I mean, you look at the stats there.
The Buccaneers running back situation's interesting.
Yeah,
because
Bucky
Irving was electric.
Well, I mean,
half his yards came on.
When you play for the Buccaneers, you gotta have a name like Bucky.
But they don't really. They
might be the mascot.
They didn't run the ball very well.
No,
Rachaad White 15 carries, 31 yards.
I've never been a Rachaad White guy. Like last year was
a
fluke.
You want to know the crazy thing for Rachaad White though?
What's that?
You take away that 15-yard run, 14 carries, 16 yards.
That's good.
Those are prime Chris Ivory numbers.
Those are some Ivory numbers.
Those are some throwback Chris Ivory numbers.
Hey, well, he was 6 for 6 receiving.
He had 75 yards.
It saved his day.
So maybe Tampa Bay, which that's the wild thing is Tampa Bay's got a new coordinator in there for offense.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, they're probably going to go to a more run-heavy offense. Not if it's like averaging like that.
No.
Let Baker bake.
Yeah. No, I agree. Both Godwin and Evans, 23 and 22. I mean, they
look great.
They look great. McMillan looked great on the one catch that he had. He got open a lot. Didn't come down with it.
I mean, when you're on a team like that.
Yeah. You got to take the chances when you can.
You went from one guy, Baker, who top pick, great guy, to another top 5 QB.
Who's that?
Dan Jones.
Oh,
electric.
Not quite top 5.
What? He was a pick.
Oh, top 5. Oh, top 5 pick. Yeah.
Sam Darnold. It was a battle of high picks.
That's a shame. Dan Jones is not it. He's not it.
He ran the ball 6 times though for 15 yards.
That's
good.
Currently has more pick sixes than he does touchdown passes since he signed his was it 150 mil contract, whatever it is. It's a massive.
I think it was like 160. Wasn't it like 4 years, 160 or something?
Yeah. So that's not good.
Why?
I don't think you want to throw touchdowns to the other team.
Oh.
You're plus minus in.
But what about if you complete like, let's say 22 passes for like 186 yards? That's pretty good, right?
Well, it depends how many. How many?
You only threw 2 picks, took 5 sacks.
Yeah.
QBR is 16.
Well, if you took 42 attempts, 22 is not that good.
Oh,
that's your problem.
But Malik Neighbors seemed awfully pissed off after that.
I was about to say
Malik Neighbors has got to be the worst poker player ever.
Yeah,
that dude shows he's like God.
I think I saw him booing with the fans. He was leading the chant, I believe.
You see, like online, there's these guys burning the Dan Jones. We thought our Russell one was bad. Man.
I honestly just feel bad for the guy. I feel bad.
Do you?
Well, not because he's making $150 million. I don't feel as bad. But
do you feel like he should have to give some of that money back?
I think he might.
To Giants ticket holders.
He might be on like some severe depression watch right now because that dude is getting just booed by his own fan base. Like there might be death threats coming. Like I don't know what's going. That's why I feel bad you know, but at the same time, like, you got to step up, man. Like, and you're making 150 million. Like, I don't know. You must have a good agent because
don't
like,
they all?
Yeah, they do. But Sam Darnold looked good.
Sam Darnold looked really good in that offense.
I mean, you know, 19 for 24. He did have an interception, but I don't know how much of it was his fault on that one. But Justin Jefferson, you know, got him a tutty.
Back.
So, like, I don't know. I think
Justin Jefferson this year might struggle a little more yardage.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if Justin Jefferson is going to be out here averaging 120 yards a game anymore.
like 12 receptions or anything.
Yeah. Like, which is fine.
But for fantasy, might be
a little tougher.
Yeah.
I mean, because really, Darnold spread the ball around.
We talked about it too. I mean, like I was talking to some Vikings fans. They're all in on like a little Darnold year. I don't know if they're all in for the future, but they're
I mean, we talked about like when we saw him with the Niners, like in a competent
he was
offense.
not bad.
He wasn't bad. And he was solid all day.
I mean, it's more, you know, the Jets.
Right. You can't blame anybody.
I mean, maybe that's a segue to that game. I mean,
you're gonna skip
Rodgers,
over.
We'll be
you're
back.
Gonna skip
we'll
over
be back.
The other Aaron.
We'll be. Oh well, yeah. Okay, yeah. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones.
We
is our
talked
boy.
about it. We love Aaron
Jones.
Jones.
Is our boy.
And that dude, 14 carries. So
I
he
hate
didn't
to
get
see
a
it.
huge workload.
Yeah.
But 94 yards, a touchdown.
You hate to see it off the Packers, but at the same time,
I love it for Aaron Jones.
Yeah, we love it for Aaron Jones.
Like Packers shouldn't have got rid of Aaron Jones for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
I still stand on that.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I mean,
we'll go to the other Aaron.
If you're, you know, Kevin Patterson, a listener of this show, you're gonna like that.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, you see what I did there.
I see.
But yeah, so 49ers Jets. That was the Monday Night Football game, and man,
big Christian McCaffrey day.
No,
McAfee, is that what his name is?
McAfee, yeah, McAfee, yeah. Yeah, Mason. What was his name?
Jordan
Mason.
Do you know where Jordan Mason went to college?
I do not.
You don't?
Where'd he go?
He's a fan of the show.
Oh yeah.
He's a Georgia Tech alumni.
Oh, look at that, folks. Go Jackets. Is what we're not a Jackets podcast. This guy's just a fan of them.
I'm a fan of Jordan Mason now.
Yeah, I mean Jordan Mason crushed it. 28 attempts, 147 touchdown. Is Christian McCaffrey even good? Maybe it's just the offense.
System.
It's the system.
Ooh.
We're not making those claims here. I'm not. That was a joke.
That was joking.
But maybe Christian McCaffrey coached Jordan Mason into being this good.
Maybe. I mean, Jordan Mason just ground and pound.
Yeah.
Like he just runs you over.
Yeah.
Like I would not want to tackle him.
Speaking of Kevin Patterson, listener of the show, he has him on his fantasy team. Smart play. Smart play, yeah.
Yeah, I think he probably had insider information because apparently Friday night he knew he was going to start.
Yeah, a lot of people were, going into the season with the Christian McCaffrey injury in the preseason, people have been down this road before. I mean, we know how Christian McCaffrey likes to get injured.
But did you know that was only his second game missed since he's came to the Niners?
Yeah. That sounds about right. It was a lot. It was most of the time. Okay, he's only been on the Niners for like
a couple years,
2 years.
Yeah,
like 1 year, fully.
Yeah, but to only miss that, it's not bad as a running back. A lot of running backs miss games these days.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, dude. What is going on? Is that just is it just like a curse?
He washed?
Is there a curse of the Jets quarterback room?
Whoa. Tyrod Taylor.
That's kind of what I was going for.
Tyrod Taylor had a 96 QBR.
Yeah.
Threw a tutty, 6 for 8.
He looked great, actually. He did
Alan
almost throw.
Lazard,
He
wide
should have
receiver
thrown
1?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. He's a good pickup this week for people in fantasy if they don't have him already.
And then Rodgers came out and said, we got to get Garrett Wilson more targets. He had 11.
Yeah.
And he was like, we got to feed him more.
Yeah, he needs more than 11.
Garrett Wilson fantasy owners, I think are in for a big year.
Well,
as long as Rodgers stays healthy.
I do think a good bit of those receptions were when Tyrod Taylor actually came in the game.
For Lazard. He did have the touchdown on the free play.
Well, for Garrett Wilson, I saw a bunch of Garrett Wilson touches at the end of the game.
Yeah, but the first drive.
Yeah.
First 2 drives, there's 4 passes from Rodgers to Garrett that he caught. And then there were a couple that were just off. So, Breece Hall, any concern?
No concern there. I mean, he ended with 18 fantasy points. He was 16 for 54, touchdown, 5 for 6.
Lost fumble.
Yeah, he did have a fumble.
He had 5 catches again. 5 catches for 39. He's just a PPR guy.
No concern there. I mean, he actually had a solid fantasy day. So, I'm concerned for the Jets. I'm not, but I also don't care. So, like, I actually I really like Aaron Rodgers, but man, like, this is like starting to get like unlikable. You don't show up to like some of like the mandatory
you shit the bed.
Yeah, like if you're that like you're not the GOAT, but like you're one of the GOATs, and you're gonna not show up to OTAs and stuff like that, and like mandatory camp stuff.
If you're gonna be a pain in the ass, you got to perform. You got to be worth the pain in the ass, right?
I mean, if you're gonna be like, you got to show up. And 13 for 21 with 167 yards. I know it's the 49ers. And it's week 1, and he turns it around. And
also, though, he historically has been shit against the 49ers. Going back to
they
his
do
Packer
own
days.
him.
Yeah.
The 49ers do own him.
Going back home. Like, he's terrible playing there.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So, like.
And on top of that, like, he's had some week ones in the past that have been
Chiefs
bad.
to Lamar, the Niners are to Rodgers.
I mean, it's like the Bears to Rodgers, He owns the Bears, 49ers own him.
So, by those rules,
rock, paper, scissors.
The Niners own the Bears as well.
No, it's rock, paper, scissors. The Bears now own the 49ers.
Who owns the Niners?
The Bears. The Bears own the 49ers.
Oh, okay.
49ers own Rodgers. Rodgers owns the Bears. It's a circle of life.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was that game. A few of the games that we didn't talk about throughout the series.
Bills, Cardinals.
Yeah, Bills, Cardinals. That was a lot closer than I kind of thought it was going to be. But
I really liked what I saw from Kyler Murray. Yeah. Kyler Murray played really well. He missed some passes. Don't get me wrong. He missed some open guys, just not getting through the reads. But, man, you got to be pissed if you're a Marvin Harrison owner. 1 catch.
That hurts.
1 catch.
You drafted him in like the first, second round.
And there was one. He was wide open.
Yep.
And Kyler just didn't get through his progressions to him.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that one definitely hurts.
Trey McBride, though, 9 targets.
Yeah.
9 targets. Those are huge tight end numbers. I mean, if you're getting targets like that as a tight end, that's
you're happy
huge.
if you're
McBride
owner. You bought in on McBride.
Yeah.
As far as the Bills play, I mean, you got Shakir got a touchdown.
Keon
that
Coleman
was kind of a fun
5
one.
Targets.
Yeah, Keon Coleman did more than we kind of expected.
James Cook was solid.
Yep.
James Cook was solid all day.
Josh Allen was obviously solid.
Josh Allen's going to be rushing touchdowns. That's why,
Yeah, he's a good fantasy option. There's a reason he was like the top target this year.
Yeah.
Some of the other games, Bears won via defense. Caleb Williams.
The fact that like the Titans lost that game, Will Levis.
It made no sense.
That's not good.
I mean,
maybe Will Levis isn't that good.
Pollard was 16 carries for 82 yards and
Tony
touchdown.
Pollard,
honestly, good. We were worried about that going into the season, but look,
he got a lot of the workload,
and the Bears' defense is honestly solid, like clearly.
But here's the thing: is like Tajay Spears and his 4 carries, 21 yards.
Yeah,
wasn't like he was like ineffective.
No,
so like.
I mean, maybe the rush defense, maybe they have good secondary, but their run defense is bad. But
are we concerned about Caleb Williams?
It's game 1. Let's not overreact. But
14 of 29 for 93 yards.
He looked bad. He looked atrocious, and he's supposed to be a generational talent.
And now Odunze's got the knee injury.
I mean,
Keenan Allen had 11 targets, only 4 catches. Keenan did drop a touchdown.
I think Keenan,
there was a good ball by Caleb that Keenan just dropped in the corner.
And you got to be better. You got to be better than that, Keenan. Come on. But you got to help your guy out. But at the same time, like, it's week 1. And people were talking about, like, this kind of, they did have him kind of underhyped, or I would say underhyped compared to.
I mean, they got to win.
Yeah.
So, like, all in all.
Yeah.
The Bears got to win.
Granted, they were saved by the defense, but
true.
And by poor play on the Titans and management.
Yeah.
And all that.
I mean, rookie quarterbacks week 1.
Yeah. It's
What
too
do you
early.
expect?
Too
I
early
mean,
to say.
Might as well talk about our boy.
Yeah, it's time. We've delayed it long enough.
We know you've been waiting for that.
Yeah. Look, we hate to see it. Another Seattle win on week 1. Our boy Bo Nix. It wasn't as bad as Caleb Williams, but it wasn't great.
No, I mean, the 26 for 42 for only 138 yards is a very conservative play call.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you hear Sean Payton talk about it, it's the guys around him weren't giving him enough help and support.
No.
The run game was shit. The receivers were dropping passes that were open.
They were.
Like there were a lot of things that that need to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
But I think you saw some flashes of some good stuff. That drive to get the field goal to put it within a touchdown, a nice back shoulder throw to Reynolds, it's a dot. That's what you want to see from him. And really, I want to see Bo Nix run more.
Yeah, I agree.
He looked good moving out of the pocket.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be
was
settling into the offense.
It was a lot of just rookie throws is what it really looked like.
I think they were trying to make him comfortable.
Look, Peyton Manning has the
all-time
interception rate for a rookie. So it's year 1, week 1. We're going to say the same thing about Bo Nix as we did Caleb Williams. We're not worried about it. It's week 1. They're both rookies. And, 20 to 26, Vegas knew. It was a -6, I believe.
And it closed at -6.5.
And same thing, closed at -6.5.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew. If you bet these games that, So we're looking forward to week 2.
Kenneth Walker ran
well, as
Seattle.
we know. Of course, he ended with an injury as per the usual. Right. I mean, no surprise there.
Tyler Lockett just keeps on locketing.
Yeah, he's
you
still
can lock
there.
him into every lineup every week for fantasy. He's like a solid flex guy.
Yeah,
you know what you're gonna get. DK got strapped again by
DK's been kind of on the down. Yeah, PS2's right. He's the real deal.
Yeah, that's why he got that bag.
The defense was locked in.
Two safeties?
I mean, all right,
almost 3.
Yeah, interception. I mean, the defense looked good.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to like about the defense.
That's kind of why it was that much more disappointing. Was that it felt like
a waste. It felt like they should have won that.
It felt like they were winning for a lot of the game,
and it came down to when they were creating turnovers and getting the ball and
the defense did
spots.
Everything they did. They just could not. It was the offense of the last 10 years is what it was. It was the exact same thing. It was no different. It was
no. It took till the end when Bo Nix ran in to get an offensive touchdown.
Safeties, interceptions, all this stuff. They're in the red. Literally interceptions to get down. Maybe was it a fumble or interception? They ended up down in the 10.
Yeah.
No, couldn't punch that one in.
Nope.
We got to kick a field goal there.
It was on the kickoff return.
Yeah, kickoff. That's right.
Yeah, and they recovered.
No, let's just go ahead and just kick a field goal.
Well, they also picked Geno off on the very first drive.
Yeah.
Set up field goal.
And there was 3 different instances. They ended up with 8 points because it was 2 field goals and a safety. That could have easily been, what would that be? I guess 16 instead. No, and then by the time Seattle scores, they're leading.
Yeah,
it's a frustrating week 1. We hope that they're gonna turn it around.
I don't think it's as frustrating as what just happened in that Falcons Steelers game.
Yeah,
we didn't even get to watch Russ burn.
Yeah, that was a shame.
Got Fields, who played fine. He played whatever.
Which was kind of surprising because they were talking about Russ starting, and then all of a sudden...
He got calf tightness.
Oh, that's what they said, huh? Calf tightness.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
He wasn't feeling dangerous.
No, he was not dangerous. It was a little spicy for Justin Fields, which didn't play bad. 17 for 23, 156, 57 rushing yards. I mean, it wasn't super flashy, but it was
he only turned he fumbled once. He recovered his own fumble. He didn't turn the ball over, so it kept Pittsburgh in it. They leaned on the defense. The defense came up big. Cousins looked a little rusty.
Well, first game back,
new system,
new offense. I mean, but 2 interceptions, 16 for 26 is not good.
And just the Falcons to put up 10 at home.
Yeah.
At home, you only put up 10. That's rough.
They're going to need a little bit more than Kirk Cousins, I think, to get this offense
we did
going.
get the Kyle Pitts touchdown.
We did. It's finally City.
We did not get Drake London.
No.
Drake London gave the Chris Olave. Ironically, we talked about they're like similar players. Like, which one would you rather have?
Yep.
They were the same.
There was a lot of that going around.
Neither was the option this week.
There was a lot of that going around, which takes us to the last game we were going to cover, which is the Sunday night football game, which is the Rams and Lions. And let me just tell you guys, this isn't worth, that's how it is. But let me just say in about one sentence, Amon-Ra having his worst performance since week 7 of 2 years ago hurts a lot. Because I invested in him in every fantasy league, daily this week, both leagues, because I was the 5th pick in every single draft. And dude, now it's a Jameson Williams show. Is that what we're dealing with here? And
it's because they respect Amon-Ra, so that he gets more coverage.
Yeah, and
Amon-Ra is fine doing the dirty work too.
Is that a problem for fantasy? Not for the Lions. I'm sure the Lions, it's great, but
maybe it changes his ceiling slightly. Maybe it's not as high of a ceiling as we thought.
There could be a major shift in who the top wide receivers this year.
But
because we're talking about him. We're talking about Justin Jefferson. We're talking about Jamar Chase. Who is the top 5 wide receivers this year if all these guys are stagnated?
Tyreek. CD.
Yeah.
I don't know who else yet.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to overreact yet for Amon-Ra's involvement. I think the game script, they grounded and pounded. They ran the ball 31 times. They ran it down the Rams' throat.
David Montgomery.
They couldn't stop Montgomery down.
He's a stud.
The overtime drive, it was just, they did halfback dive and over, and it worked.
You know what? David Montgomery is low key. We've talked about this in our old show podcast back in the day.
He's just not respected like
he's not.
He's
legitimately
underrated for
one of the best
of a running back he is.
He is of this day and age.
No one wants him to be a 1 though.
No.
I don't know
he's not
why.
respected as a 1.
No.
But when you look at his numbers and you look at what he's done and what he continues to do, the dude is actually you watch him run.
He runs hard. He's hard to tackle too.
Throw him against the front 7 of the Eagles. I'm okay with that.
Well, and that's the thing is whenever he runs, even when he gets tackled forward.
Yeah.
So he's not taking losses.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
David
then
Montgomery is great.
Oh, he's so good. And then on the other side, we talked about this going into week 1. We were both in on Cooper Kupp this year.
Dude, 21 targets. 21.
Yeah, 21. The old Cooper Kupp is back, baby.
That is not sustainable for the Rams offense, though. You cannot have Stafford throwing 50 times a game.
No, you can't have. But it was overtime.
They didn't touch the ball in overtime. That's the crazy thing.
That's actually a good point. I'm trying to rationalize it. His shoulder might not hold up if he's going 49.
Cooper Kupp, though, 14 for 110.
Yeah, I'm all in.
And a tud.
I've got him in. I got some stock in him this year, and
I had him in daily.
Yeah, I wish
I wanted
him
in every league, and I didn't get him in any.
Let's talk about that, guys.
How many of you joined?
Yeah,
we had a lot of people in there.
We had 27 people in this daily challenge this week, and do you know who came up on top of 27?
Who was that?
I'll be this guy.
Here, I'm trying to get you want your
I'm trying.
You want your 60 seconds now to talk about your daily lineup?
Yeah, go ahead. Why not?
Right.
This is
worthy. I'll give you the time.
That's what it is. That's just what it is.
So look at this, guys. I had Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans stack, which was the thriftiest pick. Baker was way undervalued. Look at that, guys. 29 points from Baker. He was the second top quarterback this week. Mike Evans, 20. Now, I told you guys all Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed is that guy. He is 100% that guy. 34 points. 34. And then on the other side of that game, Saquon Barkley, 35. We all know Saquon's that guy this year. Also had Achane as my running back. 10 carries, only 24 yards and a touchdown, but he got a little PPR action, 19.5. And then, look, the Bears defense with 24. I had multiple guys with single digits. I had Taysom Hill, 4. Cortland Sutton, 5. and then Amon-Ra St. Brown, who let me down with 2.8, and we still finished with 175.76, which was like no contest. There was nobody even close to me. It was like at 15 points. So if there's any credibility for this show, look at it right now.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't really have a rebuttal. Your lineup was solid.
I mean, it was
Mine got a little
phenomenal.
derailed because I had to pivot after T. Higgins
he looked,
came out, so I had to change. I actually replaced it with Cooper Kupp, so it actually worked out well.
That works out well.
Alter some things, but yeah.
I mean, you checked the if I would have entered in the
if you would have done the like 628,000 people one, you'd have been tied for 280th.
That's pretty solid. I would have won
pretty damn good. Would have won $50 on a $5. You'd have 10x'd it.
So I know we kind of let you guys down on the betting buffet this week in college, but at least this
tailed in
at least this
fantasy
show has a little credibility, now with my lineups in daily. So, I mean, do you want to talk about our lineups this week for the challenge for everybody?
Oh, absolutely. We'll talk. Yeah, I think we should start there.
Yeah, who do you got?
So I'm doing the stack. I liked your idea. Last week I went with the QB running back stack, which Josh Allen basically was the running back. I got some value here. We just talked about him. Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp. I'm pairing them together. Dude, Cooper Kupp is $7,700 on a budget. Man, that dude should be like $9,000.
Agreed.
Especially going against Arizona.
Yep.
Historically, the Rams torch Arizona offensively.
Yep.
So that stack, 7,500 on Stafford, 7,700 on Kupp. Give me it. Lock it in. Running back, I also went with some value here.
Okay.
I really liked, we didn't touch on it, and we should have that game, but J.K. Dobbins.
Oh.
We talked about J.K. We should talk J.K. Dobbins.
We didn't even talk that game.
Yeah.
We let that game go, but...
And we do have Raiders fans. So
we do. That's
yeah. But the Raiders fans probably don't want to talk about how the Raiders played because I was disappointed in them as well. Yeah. Minshew did not look good.
No.
But J.K. Dobbins did look good.
We said Gus Edwards was the guy, and no.
Gus Edwards was trash, and J.K. Whoo.
Man, you might have to get that J.K. Dobbins jersey.
I might be eating my words pretty soon.
Might be.
But he's got that Carolina matchup. Give me that. Give me that all day. Even if he splits like with Edwards a little more this week, we just saw what the Saints did. Give me that. Yeah. Second RB, $6,200. Brian Robinson Jr.
Oh,
I like what I saw from him. Obviously, Jaden Daniels took a lot more rushes, but that was game script. Yeah. Also, the way the blitzing is. I just watched Aaron Jones torch this Giants defense for 96 on 14 carries. Give me Brian Robinson. Already told you I had Cooper Kupp, so I had a little bit more money to play with. Wide receiver, the first one, Garrett Wilson.
Nice.
Huge bounce back. Aaron Rodgers already talked about it.
He's believing the hype.
I'm buying it. If Aaron Rodgers comes out and says it, he gets his guy the ball. So Garrett Wilson looked phenomenal. He was quick. He was getting open. It was just a little off timing wise. Then the second one, 9,000. I'm ponying up. I'm Ryan St. Brown this week.
Oh,
I don't believe in back.
Man.
I think they're gonna be like, hey, we're gonna get him his. We paid him $140 million. Let's get Amon-Ra.
All right, I like it.
Then I'm going back to the Vegas. Give the Raiders a little more shine. Brock Bowers at tight end. He was a good safety net for Minshew, especially in week 1. I think that builds here against Baltimore.
Okay.
Chiefs tight ends had pretty good success. The mix between Kelsey and them. So I like that. I'm going back to the well on this one because I think he's due, and that's Terry McLaurin.
Oh,
against the Giants.
So
I think they get
a little
back.
bounce back games here.
And then Denver against Pittsburgh. Yes, I know there's no Russ. This is more a value pick. They did have a couple safeties. They're in Denver. Justin Fields, I think they can try to contain a little bit more. So
I think that's a solid.
I think this one's got some hope. I don't know if it's 175 points, but we might get close.
That's a solid roster.
Yeah, what you got cooking this week?
Mine's gonna be. You guys now are listening. I know because of the way last week panned out.
I'm about to pay yours for the money.
you might hear this and be like, "Whoa, what is going on?" This guy might either know something or he's lost it. Because I got some questionable ones here.
Oh,
but we're gonna start off strong. We're gonna stick with the Saquon game. I think Saquon's just a solid bet every week in and week out. I mean, yes, it's against Atlanta, who right now it's a bad matchup. Apparently, it's red, but like that's just because I think they were playing the Steelers last week. I mean, come on. But speaking of the Steelers, my RB2, I got a little value here. This is maybe the one that people are gonna not be totally in on, but I got Najee Harris.
Oh,
yeah.
You think he'll be able to run well against
He's only
Denver?
6,600. I think he's going to be able to run against Denver. Kenneth Walker was able to do it, and they also gave Najee Harris 20 carries last game. And Jaylen Warren I think he got shaken up or something like that. I also have Cooper Kupp.
Oh, yeah.
Because the value.
He's definitely going to get hurt
7,700. Yeah, 7,700. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Why would you not? Now, wide receiver 2, Malik Neighbors, another questionable one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors against the Commanders. The reason I'm doing that is because it's against the Commanders. Him and Jaden Daniels are going to be facing off. He's going to want to prove himself. Hopefully, Danny Dimes can get him the ball. It probably won't be able to, but, he didn't do terrible last week. I think it's a lot better matchup this time. Not to say that, Vikings were really that stout on defense or anything, but comparatively, the Commanders the secondary is just not there. So, Neighbors, we're running it back with Mike Evans, steady. He's kind of the Saquon, similar thing. We're getting a little value here at tight end. We're going Gesicki.
Oh,
Cincinnati. Great matchup.
Gesicki pick.
It's something. It's
sexy.
It's not. It's not. But it's some value, against the Chiefs. And then Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh,
as the flex.
You're just all in on
we're all LSU. And to finish that out, why not? We're going Jaden Daniels at quarterback. This is an LSU week, baby. Yeah, so we're stacking it up in LSU week, and then I got a Commanders defense, which it was more so I ran out of money, and I think Danny Dimes is good for another interception or two. So it's really just the play against Daniel Jones. So is what we're doing there. So anyway, that's the team this week. If you guys want to join, we're going to have the link in the description, and it should, you guys should probably listen to what my roster is because I do have the credibility now.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a proven track record.
And also, go see it. I mean, he's got his fantasy football trophy sitting right here, but in my home league, I've got 4 titles as well. So he's got 1 sitting here, but I have 4 under my belt, and so I kind of know a thing or two. So, but anyway, this week we're moving on to this week's. We might just cover a few of these games here.
I think we want to introduce a new segment though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I call this one?
What's that?
Prop agenda. You want me to elaborate?
Yeah, would you like to elaborate on this?
I would love to elaborate.
How does this work?
This is prop bets. So player prop bets for the week. We each are going to pick 3. Over under yards, receiving, rushing, passing touchdowns, all that. Any of you who do pick them and stuff like that, you kind of, if you do props or betting, there's over unders all the time. So I'm doing this.
Yeah, what do you got?
Sleeper. Okay. First one. Terry McLaurin's receiving yards, 52.5 this week. Over.
Oh, he is big on the rebound for McLaurin.
Over on the rebound, especially against the Giants.
It's really not that big of an over either.
I don't really think so.
Yeah, agreed.
The other one, CeeDee Lamb, over 87.5 receiving yards this week against New Orleans.
I like it.
CeeDee got the bag. They didn't really need to use him that much, and he still had like 60 yards. I think this is that, just classic CeeDee, like 120-yard game.
Yep.
This other one, also with that same theme of rebound, 58.5 receiving yards, the over for Amari Cooper.
Oh.
If he doesn't hit this, he's probably going to flee the coop and really wish that they would have traded him to the Niners. Yeah. I can see why Cooper was high on that. So those are my 3 I'm putting together through Sleeper.
All right. We're going to start off with just a nice, easy one, kind of your meat and potatoes. We're going Tyreek Hill.
Oh,
Anytime touchdown.
All the
it's
time
at a
touchdowns.
1.58 times. So it's
All the
not,
time touchdowns.
It's not that great of value, but you know what? It's actually better if you go under that. You actually make more money if he doesn't score a touchdown. But
He's going to score a touchdown.
We know it's going to happen. Now, this goes with my daily pick. I am going Malik Neighbors over 67.5 receiving yards.
Oh.
I do think that they're going to be tossing against the Commanders this game. And Daniel Jones, while he is defeated and morally and everything like that, Neighbors is going to be yelling at him like he has to get him the ball. He has to provide. And I think over 67.5, it's going to happen. And it's a 1.74 times. It's pretty solid value. And then finally, we're just going to go a little boomer bust action here for a 2.98 times value on Shakir for Buffalo.
Oh.
Anytime touchdown.
I like it.
We figure we might as well get some value there.
So what'd your multiplier end up by the end of this?
So my multiplier on that one is 8.19.
Damn. That's pretty solid. That's
so
a good return.
That's why I think this
that's
one
spicy. I like that. I think that's
up.
a good value though.
Yeah.
I think mine ended like 5.35.
Yeah.
Mine's pretty conservative.
Yeah.
But still 5 extra money.
Right. So I mean, those are our picks this week. You guys can
Pretty good segment.
Take a look. I mean, there a lot of these have this. There's
you can parlay them all together.
Yeah.
For all 6.
Yeah, I mean,
DraftKings does pick 6 too.
Yeah, the pick 6 for DraftKings. You got Sleeper. There's different options for you out there. It's a fun extra thing to do.
And
each
it's
week.
legal in Missouri to do, so you don't have to bet offshores.
Right. So going into this week's matchups, is there a particular game you're looking forward to?
Oh, I'm interested to see Colts Packers, how that's going to look now.
Wow.
I mean, the low hanging fruit here is obviously the Bengals Chiefs.
Right.
But I want to talk about, the Colts Packers.
Yeah.
Because I think this is going to be a change of offense, an offensive approach for Indy this week. I think Jonathan Taylor gets back on track. He wasn't able to really run very effectively last week against the Houston front. We just saw Saquon Barkley have pretty good success on a questionable surface against the Packers. So I think Jonathan Taylor in that offense, I want to see kind of how it opens up for Anthony Richardson. And also, I'm just curious what the Packers are going to look like without Jordan Love. Like as much as we love Reed and we love...
That's tough.
Oh, man, like now with Malik Willis.
Yeah.
I feel like the play call is going to be very conservative, and they're at Lambeau, so...
Yeah, I almost picked Jaden Reed as my my flex because he was still low value, but I can't trust it.
Indy -3 seems low.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Obviously Lambeau, huge home field advantage. But Malik Willis,
is
this a running clock type thing where you
it's-
just try to run the ball and keep the clock moving and hope Josh Jacobs can bust it off?
This was one where I was considering picking both Josh Jacobs or Jonathan Taylor in my daily as well because I'm like, I think both of those guys won. But once again, I don't know with how the Packers offense is going to look. Are they going to just be stacking the box?
Right, you have to because Mixon torched.
Yeah.
Indy
but then
last
again,
week.
he torched Indy. So is Josh Jacobs going to tear it up this week? He might have to.
I would think I think if the Packers are fully healthy, he would because you'd have to respect the pass.
Right. It's tough. Yeah.
I would make Malik Willis beat me. Don't let Josh Jacobs beat
right.
me. Because Josh Jacobs can.
Right.
We don't know if Malik Willis can.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I didn't go
games.
against. That's why I didn't pick him. But yeah, I think Jonathan Taylor could turn it on this week. I'm going Colts here.
Going Colts.
I hate to see the Pack lose 0-2 start the season.
I'm going Colts. I think they cover -3 too.
Another big one on the radar is the Bills Dolphins. That's Thursday
night football,
tonight.
baby.
You guys will be able to watch that on Amazon Prime.
Or go to Mascots, St. Charles. Great place to go watch the games.
Yeah. So
You think who you got here?
This one's a tough one. It's at Miami.
Josh Allen dealing with a little bit of an injury still.
Well,
short week.
Yeah, short week. I have the Dolphins here.
Minus 2.5. Think they cover that, or you think this is like a 1-point game?
They cover.
Think they won.
That's a field goal game. It's a field goal, not by much.
Similar to the Jacksonville.
Yeah. Not by much, but they cover, and I definitely go. It's definitely gonna be close, and maybe not high scoring as we've seen on Thursday Night Footballs as well. But this one definitely doesn't seem like that as an option.
They have the total at 48.5, so they're thinking it's going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah.
I love the Dolphins here.
I'd say under.
I think under is actually I think that's the play, because Thursday night games just don't normally go that way. Even the Chiefs-Ravens game ended at 47, so you're under that. And I think both teams are going to try to establish a run game.
Yeah.
So, I like that. I'm on board with that.
Yeah. So, there's really not much to say about it. We both know, they're two top-tier teams in the AFC.
Same division. This matters. These should both be in the playoffs.
We'll see how, like I said, the Josh Allen kind of banged up. He's gonna have to fight through this year. It's week 1. Come on, they're not. You could sit them for a couple weeks, but you're not. So it's short week, and they're still trying to figure the offense. The offense looked good against the Cardinals, but you're going to be facing a lot harder defense this week.
Yeah, and they didn't really stop the Cardinals' offense, so Miami's got a lot more weapons.
I think the Thursday Night Football is going to take the points down, but you put this game on a Sunday, and it's going to be a high-scoring game. Yeah. So, I think I'm taking Dolphins here. So I think
an underrated factor is this being a night game in Florida instead of a noon kickoff.
Yeah.
So I think that's also nice. It's supposed to be like 87.
Oh, wow. Well,
per Acura weather.
We're a weather channel here too.
You're welcome. These are things matter when you're betting.
They do.
Rams Cardinals.
Yeah.
What we got?
Well, Rams Cardinals is interesting. I think it's because it's at Cardinals. They're both 0-1. They both trying to get back into
got a
it.
Spread of -1.5 for Arizona.
I go Rams here, and purely off of they actually look good against the Lions.
Are you concerned now that they don't have Nakua? That their offense is going to be a little less versatile?
Maybe slightly, but not really, because Cooper Kupp was able to do this without him. So
yeah,
and they find ways to get Cooper Kupp the ball without somehow he's wide open every single time.
Do we think the Rams can get enough pressure on Kyler Murray though? Can their defensive front get that push to actually force Kyler to make bad plays?
I think so. They don't have Aaron Donald anymore, but they're still.
I really like Kyler, so that's my thing. Is I think I lean Cardinals. The reason I lean Cardinals is they do have a balanced attack. James Conner, I think, can run through this Rams line like we saw Montgomery do. I think Conner can take advantage.
Yeah,
then I think that's going to set up kind of the play action. I think Marvin Harrison gets it more involved this week. So my lean's Cardinals.
Okay. Bengals, Chiefs.
Bengals own the Chiefs. The Bengals historically have owned them.
Chiefs at home. Chiefs. It's early season. There's no snow on the ground. I think
it's Chiefs.
It's Chiefs.
Especially when you don't know what this offense is going to look like for the
Bengals. I don't want any part of picking Bengals games for a while, just based off the rapport going on and what's going on in the locker room.
It's -6 KC, and that seems light. Because I think this is going to be that, send the message, fuck you. We're sick of you.
The Chiefs are, they're that team.
This is the game, honestly. One of the other ones I consider for prop bets was the over on Pacheco rush yards.
Oh.
Pacheco struggled last week against the Ravens front, which was expected. The Ravens have one of the best offensive fronts. The Bengals do not. We just saw Ramondre Stevenson bash 120 yards on 25 carries.
Yeah.
And Pacheco's a lot more versatile than Stevenson. Yeah. He also runs way harder.
Yeah.
So I think Pacheco's in for a big day. I don't even think they have to throw it around. I think they can just run it through the Bengals and kind of beat them up at the line.
If Ramondre did it, I don't see why Pacheco can't.
No, and they had to stuff the box because they don't have any receivers in New England. So
since we didn't cover this in the beginning, let's do a little Raiders-Ravens game. You know, maybe they don't want us to cover this one either because it's rough. They're at the Ravens, and
Ravens are pissed off after they lost the game.
Yeah.
That I would argue they
should have won.
They had chances to win.
It's not a good draw.
It's a 9.5 point spread, which in the NFL is a lot.
Yeah. You think they cover?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I think
guys.
this is a 2 touchdown game.
I agree.
I mean, if the Raiders ended up not being that close to the Chargers, are we really thinking they're going to be that close to the Ravens, who are pissed off, and Lamar is just ready to go berserk, and Isaiah Likely tight end 1, elite.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Elite.
What happened to Mark Andrews? You know,
who cares?
Yeah, who cares? That's
Mark who?
Yeah, I agree. So we both got that there. That's a pretty easy call. But as far as a couple other good games that I'm seeing on the slate,
Steelers Broncos.
Well, that was not one of them, but you know, but
Pittsburgh's currently -3 in Denver.
We're taking a week 2 rebound here. So
yeah, I think Broncos are going to win this game.
Even though he's not playing, probably.
He's scared.
Yeah, he's too scared.
Broncos, we think, win this.
Yes.
Bo Nix gets his first W in Denver.
We want him to. A couple of good games. Lions Bucks.
That's a really good game.
I love it. That's a Sunday noon game.
This seems odd to me.
Yeah.
Detroit's a -7 favorite at home against the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Did they not like what they saw from the Bucks?
I think they love what they saw out of the Lions. Is what it was. Now, granted, it was overtime.
I didn't think the Lions were I didn't think they played a perfect game by any stretch.
I think the Rams played really well, though.
That's true. But we watched Cooper Kupp kind of torch their defense.
And what do you think?
So they moved the ball.
What do you think Baker and Mike Evans and Godwin?
Like if you say you take away Mike Evans,
I almost
say you take away Godwin. Who's on guard Evans?
I almost picked Baker again this week.
I would take the 7 points with the Bucks.
Yeah.
I think the Lions win at home.
Yep.
I think it's a close game.
Yeah.
I think it's like a field goal at the end.
Yeah, you take
touchdown seems way too high.
And Bucks could easily win this too.
Yeah.
So I think I pick straight up pick them Lions.
Spread.
You
Bucks.
take the Bucks.
Yeah.
Another big one is Cowboys Saints. I mean, we'll see who's real deal here. If Saints at 47, let's see how bad the Panthers.
Carr gets picked a few times.
Let's see how bad the Panthers really are here because Cowboys Saints should be. I mean, I'm still going Cowboys here.
6.5.
6.5
in Dallas.
Yeah, I think
they cover.
I think they cover.
I think they cover at 7. I don't.
Yep.
If it gets 7.5, I don't want it. Like I'm just staying away. But I'd go -7, I guess.
And then a really probably bad game, but I'm still intrigued to watch is the Commanders Giants game, mainly because I've a lot of the
because it's just the battle of the LSU.
Yeah, it's the battle of the LSU, and
Washington's a -1.5 here.
It's just like, all right, who wants to lose this game?
I will tell you this.
I don't know.
I want the Commanders.
Yeah.
At home. Just in general, I also like Jaden Daniels better than Daniel Jones.
Right.
I can tell you though, if Jaden Daniels goes out there and just thrashes Daniel Jones optically, dude, New York's gonna burn.
It's gone,
dude. I don't know what's gonna happen to Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
But I think Daniels will help them out. I think he'll be better. I think they'll get McLaurin more involved. I think they'll try to let Daniels throw the ball. He's a good deep ball thrower.
Right. It was
so why are all these checkdowns?
It was a
lot.
And
I know some of it was like the Bucks have a really high pressure rate.
Mm-hmm. Well, you also, I mean, he was just trying to get their line's not good, so you got to get the ball out
quick, and you have a team that's blitzing.
That's what I'm saying. You look good at that. Like
Giants didn't really blitz Darnold that much, so I think the Commanders win this.
All right, so a couple of rapid fire ones. Browns Jags. Do we care? Do we really care?
We care.
All right.
They care. They care.
Jags
Jags
at home. I don't like either team, but
Give me the Browns.
All right, there we go. We got some discrepancies here finally. All
I
right.
think it's a 3-point Jags spread. It's -3 for Jacksonville.
Wow, that's amazing to me. Since last week it was the 3-point spread for the Dolphins.
And
it's
weird.
It's weird.
I just think Amari Cooper gets his.
Okay.
Because Tyreek and Waddle ate well. So I think.
All right. 49ers, Vikings.
49ers.
Yes, 49ers.
Regardless who's at running back.
Yeah, what's the spread on that one?
-6 on the road in Minneapolis. I mean, it's intriguing.
That is intriguing. I maybe Vikings on the spread, but I still take 49ers.
I still feel like they'll win by a touchdown.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think they throw more, or do they just lean on Mason? Because Devin Singletary and them didn't run the ball well for the Giants, but that's the Giants line's trash.
I mean, Breece Hall was able to run against the 49ers okay. He wasn't great.
So you think
Aaron Jones might be able to?
Think the Niners try to play that game?
Still got Justin Jefferson. You still got, 49ers defense is still elite, so that's tough. I think
going to the Vikings though it's not an easy game.
No.
Like I think it's hard. It's a hard matchup.
I think probably it's the Vikings. I'm taking 49ers plus the spread.
I think that's where that's the side I like.
Seahawks, Patriots.
Seahawks.
Yeah.
Seahawks are minus
they're
3.5.
They're at New
Foxborough.
England.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Obviously,
little hangover game for the Pats.
The only thing would be if Kenneth Walker's not able to go. That would be the only lean.
Okay.
He might that would change that
because he doesn't ever play.
Yeah, if he's not good to go, then I think that maybe it's a different game. But
all right, Chargers, Panthers. We both picked Chargers.
What? Yeah.
Okay.
What's the spread on? Hold on. Chargers, Panthers. -6.5 for the Chargers on the road.
Yeah,
that is rough because the Chargers are not supposed to be good this year.
We're taking it. We're taking it anyway.
You're skipping the Jets, Titans.
I'm not skipping it. We're getting there. All right, Jets.
Everyone wants to know about Rodgers bounce back versus Will Levis.
Jets, Titans. Who do you got?
Jets.
Oh, yeah. Titans at home, and I'm not worried about it.
No, it's -3.5 for the Jets.
Yeah.
Rodgers, there's no way.
If he does,
Rodgers and them.
What if they suck? What if they lose to the Titans? What do you say here? How does New York, New Jersey, how do they feel about this?
Oh my God.
Is this the same as the Giants? Is it New York and burn down to the ground?
Because here's the thing, I would feel as a Jets fan, I'd be real pissed.
Oh, they already are.
Rodgers experiment, you're wasting a talented team.
They already are.
So the one way the Titans can win this game though is if they can run the ball with Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears.
Yeah.
I would say the road for them to win is running the ball 35 times.
Yeah.
Will Levis should not throw the ball much unless it screens.
Right. Great. Now we're into the Sunday night game, which is Bears at Texans.
What a dirty Sunday night game.
Yeah. It's a fun, a couple of new young quarterbacks and
but normally you try
an exciting receiving core on both sides. Look at these elite offenses.
Yeah.
What's the what do we got for lines?
-7 for Houston.
Yeah.
And I think that's low.
Hey, we'll see how real the Bears defense is, but I agree. I think
the Bears barely escaped Tennessee.
Barely.
At home, too.
Yeah.
They were in Chicago.
Yeah.
I feel like the Texans are just going to railroad them. So this game might be over pretty quick.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully it's a better game than that, but
plus Joe Mixon.
But
going to do what Tony Pollard did.
It could be a comeback of the Bears and Caleb. Maybe Caleb Williams comes out and is just like, no, I am elite. I am a generational talent. And he throws for 4 touchdowns.
Maybe.
Probably not.
What color nails do you think he's going to go with this week?
He needs to switch it up. I think maybe some
yellow,
maybe some USC red and yellow.
Oh, a little throwback.
Yeah, could be. Monday Night Football, Falcons Eagles. Great game, right? Another electric primetime game.
It's a battle of the birds.
It is. It's usually a great game. I just don't know about the Falcons.
6.5 is the line with Philly.
Philly's gonna roll this year. I'm pretty high on Philly. Philly might go. They might not be undefeated.
We saw how their offense looked against Green Bay, who actually has a quality defense.
Dude, Saquon on the Eagles is too much.
It's a cheat code, man.
And you've got
and now you're gonna preserve Jalen Hurts having to take all those like sneaks. You just give it to Saquon.
It's unreal. Like the fact that the Giants paid Daniel Jones and let Saquon walk might be the worst thing I've ever heard. Great for Saquon though. Good for him.
Saquon deserves.
He deserves to be on a Super Bowl.
So
team.
you're gonna get the Saquon Eagles jersey now? Is that what you're doing?
Might have to if I sell this one for $1,000 on eBay. Currently, it's going for.
I mean, is there any way the Falcons can hang in this?
There's
game?
a way. I mean, Kirk Cousins could get back to his.
Is it Kirk Cousins? Is that going to be the way? Is it through Kirk, or is it going to be the run game with Bijan?
I don't think it's gonna be the run game. The way that they stuffed. I mean, I
Bijan's
guess
a lot more.
They opened it up in the second half.
I think Bijan's a different type of runner.
Bijan hasn't proven himself either.
Jacobs.
Yeah, so it's hard to say. It's going to be. It's gonna be tough. I just don't see them winning this one, and I don't see.
There's too many toys for the Eagles. Like the Eagles are a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams.
Getting out of hand.
I think it's a crash course for the Eagles, Niners, and the NFC.
Yeah.
Like, I think those are the two best teams.
And then we throw Buccaneers into the action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lions will be competitive.
And Lions. So
I think
it comes Lions for sure.
I think it ends up being Eagles and Niners, though. If everybody's healthy, like if all teams are fully healthy, I think the Eagles and the Niners are the best two teams all the way around
Dallas
in the
would
NFC.
have something to say about that, but it ain't going to be Cowboys.
What has Dak done?
Right.
Who? Like, what has Dak done in the playoffs?
Yeah, he's not great.
You know who owns him? Jordan Love and the Packers.
It's true. Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think NFC, we're looking at Eagles, Lions, 49ers, and Bucks.
Yep.
Top four teams.
AFC, Bills, maybe.
Bills, maybe.
Dolphins, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Ravens.
Texans. It's definitely a lot. There's a lot.
Are we ruling out the Bengals now?
Bengals are in discussion, but currently, I'm not. They are trending hard down in my rankings.
Agree.
So that's week 2 coming up.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
We know it's a little bit longer, but
oh yeah, this is gonna be a long one. We're gonna have to.
You guys got time though. It's not like your work day isn't 8 hours.
Yeah.
Or even really the 2 hours you actually work.
Right.
You can listen to the show.
Your boss doesn't have to know.
Right. You didn't ask for another sports show.
You got one.